Morning everyone, off to another job again. It's 7 o'clock this time, a little bit later. Job's only around the corner, so we didn't have to leave us early. So we're going to catch up with you guys on the route. See you in a bit. So back on the road. This one is only 2 miles away. We're in Watford at the moment, and it's quite nice just to be able to drive to a job that's not far away and not have to wake up stupid early like 6 o'clock. Also had the van break down last week, so the fuel pump went. That sort of put a spanner in the works, just because had to get it towed to my dad's garage. My dad's a mechanic, which is quite handy. He fixed the fuel pump, and £700 later the van's back on the road. So we're there for 2 days. So what we'll do is when we get there, we'll unload, do the bearers when we get there, and we'll see you in a minute. Right, we're here. We've got a full day ahead of us. That's the one up there, have a look. That's the one. First floor, luckily, not loft this time. We've got a full load. It's a whole L-shaped wardrobe, shaker style doors, oak interior. And we've got a lot to do in the next couple of days, so we're going to get out, speak to the customer, bearers down, tools in, and get cracking. Right, so this video is not going to be a comprehensive how-to, as I usually do on the last 2 weekends. It's a little skim through. Haven't really got the time to sort of give you step by step, but as you can see, I'm just on bearers now, and there's a return here. So I've started with my return. I've been using masking tape on the floor to tell me where my bearers are going in relation to the depth, and I've measured across with masking tape where all the centres of each packer should be. So I've started from this point and I've worked my way across because this was the high side. A little tip is, put your base down first, a little 18mm packer in each space first, and once you've done that, then start building them up to your levels. Don't try and level your bearers up just now, just do your packers first. And I need to level up from this point to this point. That's got a base packer, but this one's been leveled up properly, as you can see. But instead of just doing one at a time, if you can get your level across, there you go, from one point to another, just imagine I've just leveled that up, that's spot on. Then all I need to do is get some more packers and just squeeze them in the gap until you feel a little bit of resistance. And that is how I pack across from one point to another without doing one at a time, and it just makes the middle one so much easier. All the packers are down now, all in the places where there are joints, where each unit's buttoned up against each other. These bearers have been screwed down, and it's just a matter of putting these long bearers on top. About 40mm away from the back wall, that's how I planned it. So when we screw them in from the inside of the wardrobe, 50 by 50, they hit the centre of the bearer, roughly there. And we're just going to use 50s to screw those down too. Then that's the bearers done. Yep.
Retake 440.
Right, Johan is just adjusting the hinges, got another few left, so they're all ready to go. So they're all in the same position. When we screw them onto the doors, they're all adjusted exactly the same. Otherwise it will just mess you up. This unit's in place, roughly, and we're doing this other corner unit here because this corner has to be screwed together nicely and be lined up properly. I'm not screwing that unit down until this one. This is D unit, and that's what we're on right now. Alright, so John is doing a bit, let's play a game called Spot John. And what are you doing in there, John?
I'm keeping this side in, so he can put a screw in so there's not a gap.
Alright,
Yeah.
so this is John's way of doing it. He's a bit special, this one.
I like coffee.
Alright,
I like
go on then, let's screw it up. Nearly on the trims. Draw cheeks going on. This was pre-made in the workshop, this panel. And we're going to put a set of runners directly onto this division, because there is a door going on this side. And John's getting ready. What are you doing with those gloves?
I'm doing a bit of surgery.
What, door surgery?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to be getting these hinges on now. And the only place we have is here, so we're just using the drawers as a little bench, because top and bottom they're unseen. Place a door on and get the hinges that John already adjusted, screwed on with some 20s. And these are already pre-drilled to the holes. Drawers in, we're starting to get our space back now. Give it a wobble, you should hear 2 clicks. There we go. These holes here are so we can put a 30mm screw in from this end with just the pointy bit sticking out 2mm. So when I put my fascias on, I line them up, give them a tap, the little prong sticks through, marks the back of the fascia. So they're already pre-drilled. So whatever we can do in the workshop we do, because it just speeds up the process on site massively. Right, so all the carcasses are up, we've got our fixings in, one in each corner. That's all we need, because this was really strong as it was. Once we joined that corner together, it's given it a lot of strength. Screwing down to the bearers gives strength too. Fixing in the corner there as well. So what Sean's doing is just working around trims. He's going around with the tape measure, working out trims at the bottom, top, side cheek, which is going over there. We're going to have a side cheek here, and a ledge. So it's sort of wrapping up all the way around, up the top, all the way to the ceiling. And then from that point we'll have a thin trim that's going to be flush with the carcass front, down, protruding 22mm on that side, because we've got a door over that side, and that's going to go floor to ceiling, that cheek. And again, run the trim all the way back to this cheek here, flush again with the carcass front. So quick explanation, the way we do trims is we get our tape measure on the floor, we get one already there, and then what Sean is literally going to do, at the start he'll take a measurement from the floor to the carcass, take off 5mm, because we've got carpet going down. So we're just going to give ourselves an easy life where we don't need to bash that trim in or knock it in, make it tight. There's no need. We've got carpet covering the gap, so we're going to allow 5mm. So he's going to take one measurement at the front, and then every 300mm he's going to measure from the floor to the carcass, take off 5mm. Floor to the carcass, take off 5mm. And it really is that simple. If you've got a floor or a brick wall or anything like that, if you're doing side trims or cheeks and you've got a brick wall or something really wonky, you can make the increments a little bit smaller, maybe 200mm, 100mm if you're desperate. 300mm is fine. To be honest, we could probably do less, because we're leaving a 5mm gap. We can do every 400mm or 500mm. And yeah, it really is that simple. So let's have a look at the drawing. We only do little scribbles, so we just draw a little strip. Sean's drawing in his little increments every 300. Each one of those lines is 300. Then that'll be his first, 300 in, 300, and as he's going he'll just write the measurement, as you can see here, 60, 59, 62, 60. And it's as simple as that. And then we'll just get the track saw and move the track. We'll cut a bit, move the track, cut a bit, move the track. Or sometimes if we're lucky we might have a trim that's completely parallel, where we just do one cut from start to finish of the trim. And it really is that simple. So Sean's going to crack on and do all these trims. And while he's doing that, John and I will probably try and get the doors on and get that corner strip on, because that needs to go in the corner before the doors go on. But we're going to juggle that while Sean is measuring out the trims and the panels. Right, so I'm on the drawers. And now is the perfect time to show you how I do drawers. A couple of weeks ago I did show you this in my last video, but every set is a little bit different. So before I start, I'm just double checking my fascias, making sure they're right. These are all having handles on, so I've just left a 3mm margin in between every fascia. Okay, so got one fascia, you would have a 3mm set of packers here. Get another fascia, and so on. But before I start fixing these on, I've just added up, these are all 225 tall, times 4, plus a 3mm gap, 3, 3, 3, so that's 12. So 4 of these plus 12mm gap equals 9, 12, and that is what we have to the top of our ledge, okay? So I'm just double checking that when I've got all my spacers in place, as I'm working my way up, I've done them correctly, and I'm not left with a massive gap, or if there's a mil discrepancy or something like that, I may need to just feather these packers, make the gaps spot on. Okay, so if you've got a mil difference or so, well, this is why you really need to check your measurements before you start. So these fascias, I'm going to start from the bottom, and there's a side panel going on here, like this. So first things first, we need to allow a 3mm gap, like so. Push your fascia up against it. There you go, that's 3mm. Remember, I've got my points sticking out of these fascias. John's already done this for me earlier, so they're all ready. They're resting on my packers, and these packers are flush with the bottom of the carcass. So this one is good to go now. I've lined it up, it's 3mm in from the side. Again, we can just jack here. Lovely and flush with the surface, because like I said, there's a cheek. All we need to do is give it 3 taps, see 1 to 1 screw, 2, 3. I want to tap it in those places. Tapped this fascia, and I should have the 3 marks. You can do it 2 ways. You can either pull the fascia out, which I showed you last week, and then reline those prongs, or you can just hold it the way it is, keep it gripped so it doesn't move at all. Got my drill already in there, and just nip them up. So I'm going to go for the middle one first, and then the ends. That one's holding it in place now, so there we go. Apart from nipping it up, that is in the right position, so all I would now need to do is just take it out, pull 1 screw out at a time, and back in again. So I don't want to pre-drill these fascias and lose all the strength in the bite of the screw. There we go. And that is how I'm going to do it. The next one is simple, you just put that on top. Next fascia, just pick the best edge if you have a best edge. Just select, because obviously these are all handmade, so we pick the best face out, orientation, and just carry it on. Make sure your 3mm gap is continuing nicely. And then a little tap. Again, I can get my hand in there, which is good. Drawer stays in there, that's a bonus when that happens. Sometimes you can just go in all the way. I'm confident that this one's going to be good, so I'm going to go in all the way. Okay, so bottom one should be fine, side one. And we're just going to continue with that. Another 5 minutes will be done. Top ones, just make sure that you leave yourself a 3mm gap in between. And that's it. Good progress. Fascia's all on. All the packers are ready for the doors to sit on and be hung. Sean is getting the plungy ready. He's taken all his measurements for the trims. All the measurements, got one set there and he's got another set drawing somewhere else. Got one door on and then we've got 5 more doors to go. So Sean's just cutting a bit at a time because the wall's a bit wonky. So he's doing a cut, moving the track, and doing a cut. Well, have you got one more or you got a couple more moves?
I've got a couple more moves really.
Yeah, alright, well in that case we can leave it at that. He's got a scribe at the top as well, 3 mil to nothing. This cheek is just about long enough floor to ceiling. And the bits that you can see, where he's done a join, he's started and stopped. Obviously, we don't want to cut all the way across because we're notch in, so we stop it. But that means we need to just finish some of it off by hand. If you have a look in there, the curve of the saw blade. So we will just finish a couple of bits off by hand because it's not disconnected properly. And then before we put it up, we'll just take the Aris off with P120. Because ultimately I don't want to put silicone across, say, the side panels and the cheeks. I'm going to do the ceiling because the ceiling's white, but the wall is magnolia colour. So if I have to silicone the walls, then you've got a pink wall, you've got a pink panel, magnolia wall, white silicone. It won't look great. So we're going to take that Aris off with P120, and after that, a 240, just give ourselves a nice finish, and that would be our finish up against the wall. We've got a mirror 300 by 1500, and that is on mirror screws. So we've just come in 75 and 75, and they come with the little rubber washers, and they've got the little domes that go on the top after. Now one of these domes that gets screwed on the top, and you just put it in, turn it a few times, cover the screw head. And I've also siliconed, well, special mirror adhesive on the back too, so we're not just relying on the glass, the screws. We've got glue at the back as well. And we did this flat just because it's a nightmare to do it standing up. And we're going to go and hang this door in this spot here. At the same time, Sean is just scribing that cheek around the skirting board, scribing that shape. We're not cutting the skirting, we're going to cut the panel, and we get a nice neat cut that way, because we're just going to be relying on the multi-tool otherwise, and it'll be messy, and we don't want to silicone that. So Sean's already cut this to suit. You can see it's been scribed to the wonky wall. Looking good. Right, so we're coming up to near the end of the day. It's 4 o'clock. Just sat down for a bit of food. Got Sean to sit down for the first time. He never sits down. And this is what we got done so far. Fascia's on. 1 door there, 2 doors there, and basically we haven't gone in order because they were just stacked. That's in the order that they were stacked. But we're still adjusting them as we go. These are all adjusted. We get close. Sean's nearly got that end panel on, just needs to tweak it. So we're here tomorrow, probably be another full day finishing the trims off. Tip of the day, Phil and I, 3 mil packer. tight. Yeah, quite tight everywhere. I'm not going to polish below the handle lines because when I screw the handles on, they're going to get more dust.
Yeah. It's just a bloody mill, that's what it is. It's ridiculous.
It's all about mills in a sense, isn't it? Right, so you're on the side panels now, aren't you?
Side panel now.
Yep.
This one's going to here.
Where the top of the carcass.
Top of the carcass, and then the ledge is running through above the sheet.
Yep.
Over the 8mm lip, and then
An 8mm lip after what? After you've
after I'll put this one on, there'll be 8mm lip. On the edge.
past this left hand cheek.
Past
Yeah.
this cheek, and
Yep.
then I'll be measuring my increments, the fascia to the wall.
Yep.
I'm going to do 3 or 4 increments.
So top, middle and bottom.
Yeah, top, middle and bottom.
Yep, okay, so that's the width, and in height you just take measurements from where?
I take measurement from the floor to the top of the carcass.
In what places, whereabouts?
I'll take
One there,
one in the middle,
Yeah.
and then one...
Because your floorboards might be out, so... But we got carpet going down, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we
I
could
can
just...
leave 5mm void at the bottom.
Yeah, so we don't have to be too... We don't need to scribe it as such. And then...
The ledge runs away through.
Yeah.
Runs away through and against this carcass.
Yeah.
And then this panel here sits on top.
Yeah.
Runs to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's just the same again with the width.
So from the front of the door,
From the front of the door to the wall.
how many places do you think you'll do that in? Measure?
3 or 4.
Probably
increments,
4, yeah.
4 or 5 increments.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And in height as well, because we know this is square.
Yeah, that's square. You take 3 increments. One to the ceiling, and then one to the ceiling, and then the back one to the ceiling.
Yeah. So because we know this is, we've got a painted edge here, haven't we? This panel, and we've got a nice square cut there, already finished with an arist edge on it. So we don't touch that, do we? All we do is once this ledge is in, we'll go from the ledge upwards, knowing that we don't have to touch this corner because it's square.
Yeah.
So if anything is out, it's the ceiling where we'll be scribing the ceiling part of the trim.
Yeah. The way the ceiling's running.
Yeah.
That's how it's square.
Yeah, and our scribe is up against the back wall as well.
Yeah.
Rather than the front because it's a finished edge.
Yeah.
So it is left panel first, runs up to the top of the carcass.
Yeah.
Then this ledge runs all the way through, you're saying?
Yeah, it runs right through to here.
Yep.
And then this panel.
Yeah, you can mark it up. Yeah.
A bit like
And
that.
then and then have it forward, flush with the doors.
Yeah, a bit like that.
Yeah. That's how it's going to be, isn't it? Yeah, with our 3mm gaps.
Yeah.
So this is why we're doing order, isn't it, John? We're doing left, we're doing the left cheek, then the ledge, then that. So
And then that, and then that be. Then we got our length of that panel.
yeah, and how do you fix? How are you going to fix each panel? How are you going to fix them, and what screws and what fixings will you use?
There's two 18s. I'll be using 30mm screws.
Yeah, so you've got your carcass, which is 18 or 19 because it's oak.
18, then 19
And then
panel.
yeah, so that's about 36mm, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So 30mm screws is perfect.
Yeah.
And where will you fix them from? You'll have to take the drawers out, won't you?
Yeah, I'll take the drawers out and pre-draw and screw it up.
Yeah. 6 screws, possibly, 2 at the bottom, 2 middle, 2 top.
Yeah, 2, and then on the ledge.
Same, isn't it?
The same again, take the drawers out,
Yeah.
screw it underneath.
Yeah.
Probably 6 again.
You might as well, innit? Because remember, we haven't got any. We pull this drawer out. That division here, that's not being fixed with a shelf below. It's just the division that hangs down. So in theory, the strength of these drawers, so they don't sag, we're beefing it up by adding a ledge, aren't we? And so we're turning that 18mm top into a 36 to stop these sagging over time. Because it was a bit of a pinch trying to get all these drawers in, trying to make the drawer boxes as tall as possible without losing another 30mm, having a shelf going across to support that division.
Yeah.
So it's beefing it up, isn't it? So maybe even 8 screws in that one.
8 screws, 2, 4,
6, 8, yeah.
and then
on this one.
On this side panel after the lynches in, probably do 8 again.
Yeah, and you can hide a couple of those screws, can't you?
Yeah, you can hide the screws where the hinges are.
Yeah.
Where the hinge plate is.
Possibly if that one is just in line, isn't it? Just about.
Yeah, just about, and then one there.
Yeah.
And then one behind that hinge.
So that's 3 at the front.
And then the back, we just have to divide it equally so it looks nice.
That's it, exactly. It's all about, we don't just chuck a screw in anywhere, do we? We make sure that it's nicely measured and it lines up with the front screws if you see any, or line it up with something at least, or divide it. So maybe 1, 2. At the top, we try and hide it in the top corner, won't we, where you won't see it?
Yeah.
But we use the golds. If you look here, where we screwed down, you probably can't.
The same colour.
Yeah, this veneer, isn't it? You can't even see those screws right in the corner because they blend in. So there's little details like that, they go a long way. So yeah, you've already taken your measurements, you're just double checking them now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just double checking them.
And then you're just going to be on the choppy, there we go. He's already got his one panel there, the left panel.
Yeah.
Plungy Makita set to 18mm, well 19mm. Track, hoover, connected up, so literally this plungy sucks up 99% of the dust, does it? Look at the floor, we've been cutting all yesterday and all today, we're not hoovered or anything, and it's no dust at all. Oh, that's beautiful. Right, so with a painted finish, the best way we found is just use a furniture polish with a yellow cloth. Don't use microfiber, for some reason it eats into the paint, but this is how we clean up, and it just very loosely go over it. Just keep going until it goes smooth. And that's how we clean our doors up once it's finished. Plus it smells nice. So you can see it taking shape now. This trim just needs to be fixed in place. We've got the return at the top. Sean's fixed this one here. Well, he's cut it, so I'm going to take the drawers out and get it fixed. And he's working on this one. Have you just cut this one?
Yeah, I'll just cut this one.
Right, so he's just trying that in, making sure it's fine. And then we'll get that fixed once all these drawers are out. So we're getting closer, and then it's really polishing down, cleaning all the insides out, adjusting the hinges once more, making sure we're happy. But they're nearly there, just tweaking little gaps here and there, doing tiny little touch-ups with the paint as well. So yeah, little artist brush, and the pink. Just any little bits that I see just need a little dab. Yeah, this is the paint that we painted it with in the end, using our airless. So yeah, finishing touches. But first things first. Tea in a cup. Remix it. Got to remix everything, mate.
2:05.
2:05, light's going to be disappearing in about an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, hour or two, yeah.
So we want to sort of close this video up while we've got decent quality. We still need the handles to be drilled out as well. But all we can do is drill the handles. We can't screw them all on because we only have 5 and we need 12. But we'll get the holes drilled out. These are the ones. Swarovski Crystal, are they?
Yeah, I think so.
Lovely. It's one of those days where whatever you look for, it's lost. So what we're planning to do, and what I'm planning to do, is silicone along the top. Anywhere that's touching the ceiling, because the ceiling's white. Got white silicone. And anywhere where the pink touches sort of like the yellowy colour walls, that's going to be cork, so it could be painted either pink or yellow to match, because silicone is white, so we're not going to go yellow, white, pink, it'll look awful. we've made these, we're making all these 3 panels as tight as we can get them. This one didn't come out so good. It's got a tiny bit of a gap there we're not really happy with, so that one's going to be corked. If we're lucky, we'll get away with not corking this side because it always looks better if you don't need to cork or silicone. But yeah, gonna go and silicone this L shape and the top of the panel. And then once all it's done there, I'm gonna silicone the top of that. And that's the silicone done. So we have these tools, so if you get stuck with silicone and then you're useless at it, you've got these little profiles that skim the excess off, they're brilliant. But I'm going to try and do it as delicately as I can. You really need to have to use these. Tissue. All I do is just tuck that in. And I can wipe on my side rather than mucking up all my trousers every time. Now onto the cork. Should have bought a better brand really. This is all I had in my box, so it'll do. It's still flexible, so that's what you want, a flexible cork. One second, matey. Let's give the viewers one last. Okay, so go on then. Let's see how we get this in. So you put the bottom in first. I won't say there's a bit of crap behind you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, about a centimetre away from the wall. Put the corner nice and tight. All the way up. It's a tiny bit of resistance on the ceiling, but that's fine. Lovely. How's that? A screw will pull that in at the top. We just got to remove that top hinge because we put our fixings behind the hinges. What's that cut? That's getting silicone at the top, so we don't mind that. Yeah, I mean, we'll ask them whether they want it corked or not, but we're a mil or so away from the walling points. And before the light goes, gonna call that a wrap here, mate, on the fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, well, apart from handles, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon. Right, so I didn't really get a chance to finish the film properly on Thursday. We were rushing a bit. We finished at 7 o'clock, and by the time we spoke to the customers and made sure they were happy with the job, it was 7:30, 7:45 before we left in the van. Even though it was a couple of minutes drive, 10 minutes drive away, it was still pretty full on that day. So in total, I think we calculated it was about 51, 52 man hours in total. 3 of us there on the Wednesday and 2 of us there on the Thursday. And I can't really explain how much it takes out of you a fitting day like that. Constantly thinking, constantly solving problems, constantly giving jobs to Sean or John and working out different situations. Something always pops up that you need to sort of use your brain, and to be honest, that takes out of you more than labour. But, you know, the labour as well on top really kills you. So it's 2 days after fitting now, it's Saturday, and the video is going out tomorrow. And I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions you have, just fire them at me. I'm happy to answer them. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But other than that, there is a little slideshow coming just after this of all the finished photos. Obviously, the lighting wasn't great at this point, but it's a few shots there just to see what it looked like. So stay tuned for that. It's only a minute or two long. Leave a comment if you can. Like and subscribe. It really does help. If you're buying any products, if you could just buy them through my channel, it really does help my channel because I could just put more time and effort into making better and better videos with more content to help you guys out ultimately. So again, thanks for watching, and hopefully next weekend we'll be doing the same. Take it easy, guys. Ciao for now. Bye, bye, bye.